Thank you for staying with us here on Politics Today on your favorite station, Channels Television. We've been talking about the intrigues in the PDP crisis in Anambra State. Interesting that there are a few weeks to the election of November 16, yet the party has not resolved the issue of the candidacy that will go for that election. Well, you said, Dr. Mafoy, that the judge was biased in this situation. Do you agree to what he said?
First of all, let me start from the Kekemeke judgment he went through. Number one, the interim order that was supposed to restrain the Congress from taking place was not served on PDP. The parties in that matter was Honorable Imam Mbamalu against PDP. These were the only two parties to that matter. Now, when they obtained that order, it was not served on PDP before the conclusion of the congresses. That aside, that decision is being tried because the application, like he mentioned, for joinder, which was dismissed by the Honorable Justice Kekemeke, is presently, there's a present application before the Court of Appeal trying that ruling.
From what he has said, yes. he has allegedly said that the Ubas have prevailed on the decision of the court. Do you believe that happened?
That is mere speculation.
Excuse me.
You had your time. Excuse me. He is just sitting down here and speculating because that is a great allegation to say that the Ubas are influencing the judge.
But what do you think comes out? Do you see any contradiction in the courtroom?
Can we settle this matter?
Just a moment.
There is no contradiction. Let me clarify this
in the court in Abuja and what happened in the court in Port Harcourt?
You're talking about the Kekemeke.
Exactly.
Yes. Now,
was there a judgment?
No, like I am saying.
Was there a judgment?
Was there a judgment by Kekemeke?
And that present judgment is on appeal.
Your client came to join, and he was asked
not on the joinder issue now.
Excuse me.
The substantive judgment is on appeal presently.
Excuse me.
On appeal.
Can we settle this matter?
An appeal filed by
Can we settle this matter?
Just allow me a moment, please.
The legal advisor of PDP in Anambra State. He went to.
Can we?
So you didn't see any contradiction in all of this matter?
There is no contradiction.
Can we settle this matter?
Let me settle the matter. Issue he is talking about.
The
Jua issue he is talking about. Under the law, an interim order does not last forever. It does not last for the whole pendency of the suit. Ordinarily, it is supposed to last for only 14 days. That is an interim order because it is an order gotten before both parties join.
Let me allow you come in now.
Settle the matter.
Let me allow you come in.
There's a popular case emanating from this same case. Let's settle the matter about the candidacy so we can move on. There's a case that came up between John Emeka and Majiri Okadibo. Do you understand? The same issue that happened in the Senate elections, where the state party, once again, through contraption with INEC, went and conducted another primaries, submitted a name for a subsisting senator to sit on. Look at what the Supreme Court said, gentlemen. In this instance, the applicant did not take part in the primary election conducted by the National Executive Committee of the PDP, which was won by the first one. He took part in a primary election spuriously organized by the state executive of the PDP, which has no virus to organize same. And also, there's another case that is interesting, and that is between Emenike and PDP. The same story, where Emenike in Abia went to the states, conducted the primaries and brought, and the Supreme Court did what? Threw it away. The case of the appellant that he was screened, cleared, contested the primaries conducted by Abia Executive Committee of the first one, emerging as candidates. Look at it here. However, the appellant failed to realize.
I like it. So the
Supreme Court settled on the matter.
Now the fact remains that the leadership problem is what has brought about this particular matter. Now
it's a game, contraception. Because, for instance, you know that state executives don't conduct primaries.
So we've not seen the situation in our political game that we have state.
No, look at the primaries going on. Look at the game going on, my brother. Nigerians should know what is going on. Andy Uba is the chairman of Senate. INEC committee. And INEC is not being allowed to do its own impartial job. So what is going on is that through the back door, they're stressing on INEC to collect. Who is supposed to return the candidate to the PDP?
Are you indicting INEC and the?
Yes. Who has the right? Who has the right?
Why is it that?
Excuse me. Who has the right?
The courts are just against.
Excuse me. The only people constitutionally permitted to submit them to IREC is the National Working Committee through the chairman of the party and secretary of the party. How come INEC issued nomination papers to Anambra through the state? Have you ever heard it before?
Okay.
Bamamanga took us submitted Anthony Nwoye's name that is subsisting. Then through the back door, the state, have you ever heard of that? The state executive went to submit INEC's Anambra's name, not Bamamanga Tuko. Have you ever heard of such just ridiculousness in Nigeria?
All right. Just a moment. Let me allow you come into the, because what we have seen in this situation,
it's ridiculous.
You are saying it's interesting that INEC. I recognize he's Ejike Ogwebeko as the leader of the party, as the chairman of the party in Anambra State, yes. Which of course now brought us into this issue, because at the end of the day, the Ejike Ogwebeko primaries is what brought about Mr. Oba. Now he's indicting Mr. Oba of prevailing on the court and again on INEC.
He's the Senate Committee chairman on INEC. Is it ethical?
All right, hold on. Just allow him.
You're running an election in INEC. And you,
Mr. McFall, if you allow him to say, to have a gun now.
It's unfortunate that this, because I see this as an abuse of this privilege. This indictment, he is
who is the Senate Committee chairman on INEC?
That is not the issue.
It's a fact
that
of
is
life.
not the issue.
Do you think that just hold on 1 minute, allow him to.
You cannot sit down and make a statement without any evidence supporting
statement
that.
Of fact. Who is the INEC Committee chairman Nigeria on INEC?
For the simple fact, he was.
If you want to run an election, recluse yourself from that position so INEC can do his job unbiased.
Just hold on.
It's just speculations.
I'm not speculating.
Where is the evidence?
The evidence is clear.
That he is the chairman of
INEC.
the Senate. In the Senate.
Is it ethically right?
Does that necessarily mean?
Is that ethically right? Is it morally right?
Well, I would like to say, Dr. Omar, you don't have any evidence that...
There's evidence.
What are your evidence?
The evidence is simple. I'm asking you a question. The law is clear. The National Working Committee conducts an election. They finished the election on the 29th. Went on to submit the name of Tony Nwoye to INEC. INEC received it. Then this same contraption about Ogwebeko that does not exist in law.
Let me ask you. Let me ask
a question, please.
Hold on, just a moment.
Morally and ethically, if you do say anything wrong in that somebody is running an election, is heading the same institution, how will those people in that place do their work impartially? There's a gun to their head. What
do you have suggested?
What happened to SEC?
What do you have? Hold on, just a moment. What would you have suggested? What would you have suggested?
Step aside from as a chairman of INEC, so that INEC can impartially conduct its election.
Did your faction actually raise this issue before now?
You've raised the issue because even the INEC people are complaining. They have a gun into their head. They have a problem.
Let me ask this same question to him.
Allow him.
Under which law is it required? Because if he is saying this, we could as well tell the president or the governor of any state who is running for a second term to step down from the office before they go for another election.
Does not election. You have a body, impartial body,
because
that gets its money from the consolidated revenue to conduct the election by the executive. By Jega. So what you are saying,
which means
the question is simple.
And the state.
The question is simple. Let us move forward. Time is going. Let's move forward.
Just for the viewers. Just a moment.
Just say this, please.
Okay. All right. I will allow you.
On the 8th of May, this same Bamanga Tukur is talking about wrote to INEC recognizing the Ejike Ogwebeko.
It's not true. I have brought documents here. Excuse me.
It is with INEC.
Hold on. Let me ask you a question,
feel free.
Dr. Mao.
Feel free.
There was a time the PDP national body visited Anambra State, and they appealed to members of the party not to go to any court. In fact, it sounded almost like a threat that do not go to court. Let's do this issue as a big family affair and let's end this issue. It gives an undertone that the Ogwebego is being appealed to.
No, sir.
That means?
No, sir. Prior to this process.
Doesn't that speak volume?
No, excuse me. Prior to this process, the National Working Committee headed by Babanga Tuko called all the constituents and stakeholders in Abuja and appealed that he wants a free and fair process to take place in Anambra State. And everybody, there was a consensus, they recognized Ken Emekaye as the chairman of the party for the processes to go on. All parties bought forms from the National, went to their screening. At the proper conduct of the election, somebody veered off to go to the state. Other contestants, 15 of them, did the national one. Do you understand? So why did you veer off to the states? If you have a clear intention, that is not even the problem. The party says nobody should go to court, but just as you said.
But you can't stop people from going to court if
Excuse
they're not happy.
me, but they sign forms, intention forms, submission forms. They said so. They signed that the party is supreme.
But you can't not tie the hands of people when they're not happy.
Why did you sign?
But they are not happy.
No. Why did you sign? No, there's the party mechanisms that are laid down procedures, which they didn't know. Instead of coming to that, they jumped to court. They have remember that these people have been suspended from the party. You ask yourself why? The party is asking them a question.
But it appears the party has been against them for a long time.
No, the party said, where did you get the materials with which you used to conduct a state election?
Just hold on. Just a moment,
issue is this.
Just a moment, gentlemen, so that we have headway. We really don't have a time again. I want to also, briefly, to give one after the other, to give a sense on the judgment, because there seems to be some form of disagreement on what the judgment, the latest judgment of the court, was it Thursday or Friday now, on who the candidate really is. I want to just briefly give an insight so that viewers can understand. It seems each of the factions have said no, that the other faction have misinterpreted it. Let me start with you. Okay. What is your interpretation, and what do you think is the headway? What do you think is the solution to the standoff now?
Good. Now, the interpretation of the judgment, the ruling on Friday, is to the effect that the Ejike Ugwebego faction is recognized by INEC and should be recognized by PDP as well. Secondly, the person who is distinguished Senator Anduba, who emanated from the primaries conducted by this same Ejike Ugwebego faction, should be recognized pending the final determination of the suit. That is the clear ruling of the court.
All right, great. Let me allow you.
This is
illusion.
Which is a
we need to round up now. Just in 1 minute.
This is what I call illusion. There is nowhere in that judgment where it is stated Andy Uba be recorded as a gubernatorial candidate. Let it be noted that on the 29th of August, the Bamanga Tuko-led National Working Committee submitted and Tony Moye's
I want you to talk about the judgment.
No, the judgment, for instance, just recognizes Ogwebego. The party that conducted the election. Nowhere. There's a copy here now. Show us the name now. The copy is here.
Don't you think that
there's no inference?
The recognition of Ogwebego gives Andy Uba,
he does not have a right to conduct elections. You can't build on nothing or nothing.
All right. Finally, what do you think is the headway?
No, the headway is
hold on 1 minute.
It's section 31 of the electoral act. States simple that the person whom the national party submits its name is the rightful candidate, except substituted or dead. Tony Moye's name has been substituted. He's gone. It's finished, gentlemen.
We must really
Case
go.
closed.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tony Makfor.
Thank you so much
for joining us. He's a
wonderful evening, Nigerians.
Former secretary of PDP in Anambra State, and I have a legal practitioner, Mr. Kingsley Osuji. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us on the program. And that's our package tonight on Politics Today on behalf of the team here at our headquarters here in Lagos. My name is Sheun Okinbaloye. Next week is going to be another interesting episode. Do join me. Have a wonderful evening.